Aren't you wearing your wedding ring? I'm actually getting it resized. Okay. Yes, okay. A little bit too small. 1 second. Okay, it's not like it doesn't fit. Like, it fits. It fits just fine. But it's really hard to come off. But anyway, yeah. Oh, look at that. Boom, baby. Married. Officially. It's been done. They said it couldn't be done. They said a fucking full-time dedicated League of Legends addict, a man who has 10,000 hours on Fizz alone, who wrote not one but two 14-page League of Legends guides, couldn't get married. Well, guess what? I have friends and family flying from all over the country and out of the country to San Diego on a Thursday for this wedding. So the only real job I have at this wedding is two things. One, I have to give a toast and thank everybody and say some nice words. Easy. That part I'm not worried about. I'm going to free ball it. I'll figure it out on the fly. I'll have a toast. The second thing I have to do is we have decided that we are going to do public vows. So I have to write them and be ready to go. Okay? I realized, let's say, the day before the wedding, I didn't actually know what vows are. I didn't actually know. I had a general idea. And so what I had written was like a speech to the audience about how much I loved Ari. But vows are actually written directly to the bride, and they're very specific, and it's usually a little bit shorter. And what I had written was a very long speech about how great Ari is. And I had these stories, and it was just way too fucking long. And this is the day before the wedding. Like, I had this story in there, and I didn't even get to tell us my wedding, but I'll tell you guys it right now. I'll tell you the story right now that was in my vows speech. This is like just a random story that reminds me of how impressed and unique and amazing that I think Ari is. It's just one example that I think sticks out in my mind, okay? So like a long time ago, I drove down to LA with Toph, my friend Toph, and I smashed off my right side mirror. So I have to drive all the way back up, get Toph to look out the window and tell me if it's a pain in the ass. And by the way, I have all the pieces. Like the mirror came off pretty cleanly, but I finally get all the way back up to NorCal, and when we go to the dealership, and they say, yeah, it'll be like $1,000. And again, I didn't even stream at the time. I think I had just started NVIDIA, or I wasn't even at NVIDIA yet. The point is, I didn't want to drop a fucking rack on this. But again, I don't have it. I have no mechanical ability how to fix it. So I'm like, all right, we got to pay it. Ari says no. She looks up a 2018 Honda Fit or whatever we have. She looks it up. She finds the blueprint. The literal blueprint of how the fucking thing attaches in, like the little ball bearing. She goes to a nearby junkyard. She finds a different vehicle, saws off the right thing, haggles with the junkyard guy, gets it for basically free, takes it home, rebuilds how the fucking arm connects, reattaches the plastic, finds different glass from a different windshield, fixes the whole fucking thing better than new for no money. I realized that I was dealing with somebody extra special because I don't think anybody I knew in the world would do that. Don't say, bro, marry her. I did. Bro, you better put a ring on that. I did. Thank you. So I had this story in there, and I realized, though, that's not a vow. Everything I told you is way too fucking long for a vow. And also, it's not a vow. It's just a story. It doesn't make any sense. After that, it's kind of late at night, and I'm staying in a kind of an Airbnb inn thing with Ari the day before the wedding, and I'm like, I find out that she's gonna have to wake up at 6 a.m. the day of the wedding for hair and makeup for hours and hours with her and all her bridesmaids. So I don't stay there. And also, I have to leave in the morning anyway, because the second she wakes up, I have to wake up because she's gonna have to put on the dress, and I can't see her in the dress. There's a rule. So I don't stay there. I go and stay at the Airbnb where all my groomsmen are. So I stay there, and I'm up there working on my vows. I'm like trying to fix them. But Cutie needs help making macaroons. So we make like an assembly line where we have to put together all these and we're doing a terrible fucking job. So Ludwig's spreading a little bit on the top, Stanz spreading on the bottom, Rochelle's squeezing jelly in the middle, and then I'm squeezing them together, okay? Everyone's doing a bad job. Cutie looks at our first batch and is like, these are all terrible. By the way, wait, I invited Slime to this wedding, but Slime hates group events. Finally, like, we wanted the later people to RSVP, I believe. He messaged me and goes, hey, it was like, hey, there's going to be a Melee tournament in San Diego that weekend. So I guess I'll go to your wedding. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, appreciate that. Everybody goes to bed except for me and then Cutie. Cutie is baking till insane hours. Cutie looks stressed. And I am stressed because I'm rewriting my vows. And I'm pacing. Because when I get stressed, I pace. So I'm pacing around the house. And every time I leave the room and pace, I see Cutie. And she's baking and she looks up at me. And I and I go back to writing. And it's like this very stressful situation where we're both working late. But I finally get to vows that I really think are perfect. I think they encapsulate what I feel and they're directly to her. So I go to bed, Cutie still baking. I wake up, Ari texts me, did you sleep good? I say yes, because I don't want to stress her out. Now I have to get all ready. The wedding's happening in a few hours. My vows are ready and I have to get ready and get my suit and everything. Everyone has to get suited up. Stanz, best man, already ready, goes to the venue, locked. I realize two things. Number one, well, I don't realize this. Ludwig tells me this. He says, your beard doesn't look good. He says, you shaved bad. It was stressing me out, dude. I have a wedding in like 3 hours. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm supposed to be at the venue at 1 and it's like noon. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, the first barber we call is this fucking deeply Russian accented like, da. And he goes, what time? And we go, well, I'm getting married today. I need it in the next 2 hours. And he says, what time? Again. And I'm like, the wedding's at 4. I need to get it before then. And he goes, he pauses for a second. And he goes, I can do 6. Fuck you. It's my wedding. Bro, I'm the groom. I'm not going to postpone my wedding for 2 hours so I can get a fucking haircut from you. We go to the next guy. Immediately, these guys start talking about streamers. And they don't know either of them. I mean, obviously, they're not going to know me, but they don't know Ludwig. But they do know Dr. Disrespect. So I bring up like as a joke. I'm like, you know, my boy here's got beef with the doc. And the guy's like, if you actually don't like Dr. Disrespect, get out of that chair. But the guy gives me a fucking nice lineup. So I go back to the Airbnb, I put on my suit. Ludwig comes waddling out. He comes waddling out of his room, fucking pants to the top of his thighs, and they can't go higher. He comes waddling out and he's like, I got a small. And I look at it and it's like, yeah, he had ordered a fucking small. I am nervous now because it's the day of the wedding. I'm not going to put any problems on Ari. I can't fucking drop problems. So I walk over there and I'm trying to pull up Ludwig's pants, dude. I'm like at fucking crotch level trying to pull up fucking Ludwig's pants. Like, and we cannot get it to fit. I'm like, just tug it harder. Doesn't work. There's just no fucking way you can get that man a small. He calls Yingling and Yingling's like, yeah, man, it said to order a small. And I'm thinking like, Nick, you fucking, even if it said to order a small, bro, you know Ludwig. Well, you putting Ludwig's ass in a small? He's off to Wynn's warehouse, last fucking minute, wedding's in like an hour, to find a new suit. I tell him one thing though, before he leaves, I go, bro, if you can't find something, come back and wear jeans. I literally don't care. I want to have you there. It's my wedding. Who cares? Like, oh yeah. Also, okay, so I was putting on my suit and I can tie a Windsor knot. That's the only knot that I know how to tie. It's what I've done forever. But whenever I tie a Windsor knot, it's always a little chunky. And what I love is when you get that real thin line. And so I was thinking like, I need someone who's got a dead dad. Like, I need someone who didn't have a dad to tie this shit for them when they're growing up. And I know just the man. And I asked Ludwig, I was like, Ludwig, I bet you can fucking, he hooks me up. By the way, I'm flipping his joke, okay? Because legitimately, the first time I asked him to do it, he's like, oh yeah, you mean the dead dad special? That was his first line when I asked him. If you guys don't know, our plan was to have Maya, our scared and skittish dog, be the ring bearer, which is something I'm worried about the entire time. Because I'm assuming that our dog is going to take the rings and bolt. The one thing I know about Maya is that if she gets panicked, she will bolt to wherever Ari is. So every single person she needs to bolt to is on the stage, and the one person who's back in the building is Ari. So I'm very worried that Maya's not going to do her job and it's going to be a problem, but whatever. Wedding comes, Ludwig shows up. Ludwig shows up. It ain't matching. But you know what? He got something. Don't matter, bro. Don't matter. The boy's there. He's there on time. I also realize this is a little bit farther back. I'm a little out of order, but maybe it's like a few hours before, right before I have to do the ceremony. I realized that I can't read these vows off a phone. All my vows are on my phone. I can't read the vows off the fucking phone. My original plan is like, I can do this without memorization. But as the wedding gets closer and closer, the hours are getting closer and closer, I get a little nervous, dude. It's like, this is a really important set of words, and I put a lot of heart into it, and I want to say it right, and I want to say it like the way I wrote it. I don't want to like off the cuff it the way I might on stream, where you just free ball it, you know, throw in a joke or something, you know? Okay, so I write it down. I'm hustling to write it down. This is probably when me and Ludwig are running around. I'm writing it down. 20 minutes before, maybe even less, like 5 minutes. 5 minutes before the ceremony starts, I'm in the back room rereading my vows, and I realize that I cannot read my terrible handwriting. But it's like, man, this is fucking chicken scratch. Thankfully, I know it. Like, I know it. And so what I really need are the keywords, but it stresses me out because I have to go up there really soon and I'm like, I can't read it. You know, it's going well. And then everyone comes out, everyone's here. And then they reveal the bride and she comes out with her parents. And then I handshake her dad and I hug her mom and I walk her up to the end and it goes well and I'm feeling good. And then the officiant starts speaking. She interviewed us before we got married to write her speech because she has to give a speech about love and how important it is, but she wants to make it personalized. But I don't know exactly what she's gonna pull from these conversations to put into her speech. At one point in our interview, again, 99% of what she said was extremely beautiful, but one thing stood out to me. At one point in our interview, I was like, yeah, sometimes when I forget to buy Ari flowers, I bought her like a beautiful Lego flower set or something. It was like one time I forgot to buy Ari flowers and she calls me out. I was like, what the fuck? I know. What are you putting me on blast? It's a day of love. And everyone laughs, which is fine. The reason she said it wasn't like I know she loves Legos. It was like when he forgets the flower, sometimes he'll try to give her a Lego or something like that. And I was like, excuse me? It's my turn. Now it's time to speak. And I don't know. We haven't decided who's going to go first. We just literally haven't decided. And then she whispers like, who's going first? And we don't know. I kind of figured I would go first. I don't know why, but in my mind, I figured I would go first. Like my speech was written and Ari fucking yoinks it. Before I can even react, it's like, I'll go first. So then Ari pulls out the most beautiful paper. She's cut out a custom page of her custom notebook. It's the most beautiful paper. I'm gonna say one more thing. I didn't think I would cry during these vows. Not that I don't get emotional at an important life event, because I've prepared it and like I know what I'm saying, and I just didn't think I didn't think it would catch me off guard. But it was all in my mind, assuming that I went first. The second Ari starts speaking, I start tearing up. Like the second, like the moment she says the first word, I start tearing up. And she's looking me in the eyes and she's saying all this beautiful stuff. And she's got these really sweet vows and she's crying. Also, that doesn't help. I fucking can't help it. I can't help it. Fuck you guys. I can't help it. All right. So I'm about to cry. Actually, I'm crying. I'm like, we're tearing up. And one of the things she says in her vows is like, you know, you're the charismatic, articulate one or something in our relationship. So she finishes and there's not a dry eye in the fucking place. Like it was beautiful vows and she was crying while she said it, right? So then they hand the mic to me and I'm like, I'm already crying, dude. I'm already crying. And I pull out my fucking pad, my fucking crunkled pad with handwriting I can't read. And I tell a joke. I'm like, I have to be the articulate one? Fucking kills, dude. Everyone needs a fucking, because they've been crushed. I think I opened by saying something about how looking back on all of our adventures and time together, it was tough to find the right words to say the simple fact that I just deeply, deeply love you. And I kind of ended it by saying, there's a lot in the middle, but I ended it by saying, I think the reason I couldn't find the right words to say something so simple about how much I love you is because that love is not something you say with words. It's something you prove with actions. And so my final vow is to prove that for the rest of our lives. Something like that. Something like that. Anyway, it was, and everyone's crying. I look around, everybody's fucking crying. Stanz is fucking sobbing. I look back at Stanz, and Stanz is fucking sobbing. I mean, I think the vows went really well. Everyone's crying. Everyone really enjoyed it. The officiant says those were beautiful. I mean, what's she gonna say? I could have said Webster's Dictionary defines gamer as someone who never gets married, but guess what? Here I am, which was my speech, by the way. And she would have said it's beautiful. Totally stress off my mind. Like that's over, and then we kiss. First kiss of my life. It was great. Then Maya. Yeah, so Maya, I have to call her up. She's at the bottom of the steps, and she got the rings. And she's like, does anyone have the rings? And I'm like, Maya, come here. And then Maya looks towards my dad in the stands, looks towards us, looks towards my dad, looks towards us, and then runs to us. Yes! Yes! Maya clutches it. She clutches it. By the way, this is the streamer Maya Higa on all fours. Finally, that's over. We go back. Food's amazing. And then it's time for toasts. Her family is Latino. So half the wedding is either from, Southern California, or some of them are from Mexico direct. My family realizes that the easiest way to get a big applause for their speech is to pander. So my dad comes up on stage and goes, "Me llamo Darren," and gets a fucking standing O, hoots and cheers. I mean, everyone's fucking losing their mind because he dropped a fucking "Me llamo Darren." And then Stanz comes up, and Stanz's speech is awesome. When we were in Vegas for my bachelor party and it was like 3 a.m. and I was drunk, I remembered that he did this, but I just forgot about it. He kept asking me about, okay, so are you excited to get married? We'd gamble for 4 hours and then sit down and have a drink. And he's like, what do you think about Ari? He was asking me all these fucking questions. And I was like, are you just trying to be best manny? Like, this feels so out of place. We just fucking screamed at blackjack for 4 hours. It felt odd. I was drunk at the time, so I'm answering honestly. And I said a bunch of things and I told some stories, and so he wrote that down. He wrote it all down. So for his speech, he just starts reading quotes of things that I said while drunk at 3 a.m. in Vegas about Ari, which could have been bad. I mean, obviously he wasn't going to include it, but I could have said like, damn, she bad. Woo! He repeats it all and reads the quotes, and that is a killer speech, obviously. Obviously, that's a good speech. And the rest of the stuff he says is all really good, too, because he's known us for a long time. Me and Ari have known Stanz and Rochelle for fucking like a decade, And my brother comes up, he does like one pandering line to the Spanish crowd, and then says like, hey, now I have someone to make fun of Brandon with me. Something like that. My brother's speech, I'll be honest with you, pretty mid. I was worried about this a little bit, but I give an on-the-fly toast. Fucking banger! Banger! I give an on-the-fly toast thing to everybody. Let me tell you what I said. I said Dream's odds of doing what he did were 7 trillion to 1. But you know what's even luckier? That all of us are here today. Yeah! 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 And then I said, give me a beat. And then Stan starts beatboxing, and then I start going. Then I went to like a 40-minute freestyle about everyone in the room and how much they meant to me. No, I said something about how I've read a lot of books. I have on I just stopped there. No, I said I've read a lot of books on happiness, which I have. I read many, many books on happiness. And one thing you notice from all the longitudinal studies they've done on happiness is that a lot of things people think are correlated with happiness are not. Really, the number one thing that is correlated with happiness is the depth and quality of our human relationships, how close we are with our friends and family. And so it means the absolute world to us to have so many of these people that we love sharing this moment with us. Something like that. It was something like that. Because I didn't have time to fucking write anything. So I freeballed it and it went really well. And then I said, man, I'm a Brandon and fucking... I walk around my wedding. And again, everyone told me that the wedding will be a blur. They said, try to savor it because it moves fast. And it did. After the wedding and after the speech and after the dance and after the cake, and it was supposed to be a night of just fun and meeting people, it went so fucking fast, dude. I blurred through it. One thing I do remember, though. I remember Slime teaching my dad how to do the phase up symbol and then tweeting that they're selling Ket together. I remember that in the fucking corner of the fucking venue. After the wedding, We wake up late because obviously me and Ari stayed up, okay? Well, I'm no longer a virgin because I've slept in the same bed as a woman, which in God's eyes means you've had sex. First League of Legends player to ever do it. I am trying to get dressed so I can like see if I can get us some breakfast or something. And I realize that all of my luggage was at the Airbnb with Lud and Stanz. And I find out that they've already left back to LA. So Ludwig took all my stuff and went to LA. So I have no clothes except for my wedding out suit. Like one of the last people that were still there was one of Ari's bridesmaids' boyfriend. I borrowed some of his clothes, but I have to go shopping immediately. And so the nearest clothes place is at Tilly's. I used to shop at Tilly's a good amount, like high school. And I'm in the Tilly's and this one guy is being really helpful. It's not what I remember from Tilly's, you know? Tilly's, usually they're just like fucking whatever, they're lazing around. But this guy's like trying to help me out a lot. And then when he's grabbing my shoe, he looks down at my hands, looks back up at me, smirks, and I know it's fucking coming. Because I know that not a single person that watches this stream can just say, hey, are you Atrioc? I love the content. I know that's not what's going to happen. He looks at me and he goes, hey, your hands aren't even that big. And he breaks out into a smile like we're sharing a fucking code. And this is Preston, who's fucking, this is this fucking grin he had. This is the exact grin he had when he's like, your hands aren't even that big. I go to get rung up. And for some reason, I don't know, Tilly's has a problem with like people stealing underwear because there's no underwear to buy anywhere in the fucking building except behind the counter. You have to ask the fucking cashier to get you underwear. And she's like, oh yeah, which one do you want? And I was like, just grab anyone, surprise me, a medium. So she grabs me, let me see if I can find it. What the fuck is this? By the way, they're longer than the shorts I bought. So they're sticking out of the fucking bottom. It was without a doubt, best day of my life. It was really, really, it just feels so good to have people who you love, especially after 2 years of COVID. Some of the people I hadn't seen in a minute all show up. And of course, people I love even more than my family, my chatters, they were all there. That was really special.